All right, today there is no review. I asked everyone to submit questions for an Ask Me Anything, so that's what I'm gonna do. And people really did ask anything. So hopefully I'll not bore you to tears as I answer your questions in today's video. Let's get started. All right, so we're sitting here at the park. This is my son, Brandon, who's usually behind the camera, but today he's gonna be asking me some of your questions. Let's get started.
Are you naturally bald or do you choose to shave?
All right, so I started losing my hair when I was about 21. You might be on your way to that yourself sometime.
Oh, no.
I started getting a widow's peak at 21. In my 30s, I said, screw it. I just shaved it. And I wouldn't go back at this point if I could. I just prefer it that way, so.
Did you ever have hair at one point?
I did have hair. In fact, here's a picture of me with hair right there. How's that look?
Do you dye your beard? Why do you dye your beard? How long it takes you to grow your first beard? How do you keep your beard in that good of shape?
All right, do I dye my beard? Yes, I do, because if I didn't, it would look like I'm wearing an Australian Shepherd on my face, and that's why. How do I get my beard to look so good? I don't really know if it looks that good, but I do trim it a couple times a week. I've been growing beards since my early 20s, and it usually only takes me a couple weeks for it to fill in. My brother and my dad could never grow beards, so I was the lucky one of the three of us guys in the family.
What was the most expensive item you reviewed, and was it worth it?
That would be the Shark Ion Flex, which was like, I think, 300 bucks. Now, was it worth it as far as reviewing my channel goes? I think that's probably the one I've lost the most money on. But as far as being worth it for the end consumer buying it, actually it's a pretty good vacuum, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's a very good vacuum.
Yeah, we use it all the time.
So what would you say is the one product that was the biggest ripoff?
Biggest ripoff, that would probably go along my worst product category, and I already did videos of the worst of 2017 and the worst product of all time. So, I mean, if you're gonna count those lists I already did, I would say Zoomies and the Perfect Smile veneers are probably the worst. Although the Perfect Smile veneers I got on sale for, I think, $5. If I paid $20 for it, I probably wouldn't be very happy.
What product or products that you reviewed were you skeptical about at first, but then they totally surprised you in the end?
That would be the metal garden hose / Hercules hose, because I thought they were just going to be some cheap hose, but actually they held up not only for my test. They've been outside all winter, had no problems then, and I even tried to cut one of them and it didn't cut, and they're still working. So those definitely surprised me as far as something I didn't have high expectations for, and they more than delivered.
Do you find that much of the money you've spent on these products is wasted money, or do you end up keeping a majority of the items and using them?
All right, it's not wasted because I'm reviewing them, so whether it works out or not, I think that's useful for the viewers. If I had bought them as a consumer, I would say probably 60% of them I would have felt like were a waste of money.
Do you think the quality of as seen on TV products are improving over time with the exposure of social media and the abundance of reviewers?
All right, I don't, because I think that a lot of times the reviews don't really matter because all the orders are taken before they're shipped out. So they take all the orders and then they send them out. So by the time people start getting them, the reviews aren't even out yet. Now when it hits stores, it's a different story. That's when the reviews can affect it, but I don't think that social really affects it at this point because most of their money is made before the product ever even ships to people.
That's well said.
I thought so.
Here's the next question. Do you think the TV infomercial is becoming obsolete?
Absolutely not. It is a $400 billion industry. It's not going anywhere.
Have there been any products that you've tried to review or wanted to review, but you just gave up?
Now, I did buy the low back Trax, and I started reviewing that one, but for some reason I felt like back pain is so subjective that whatever I said about it was pretty much useless to whoever else was buying that. So I never posted that video. I just gave up on it.
Do you ever return any of the products that you review?
No, I don't return anything for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm always referring back to them when people have questions. And number two, if I knew I could return them, it really wouldn't be a financial risk to me. And I want to have a financial risk so that I feel like if it's a bad product that I got ripped off, and if it's a good product, I got my money's worth. So returning that kind of cheats a little bit. So I want to be stuck with it either way.
What is your favorite pillow that you reviewed?
Ironically, it's the purple pillow because that's the one I'm using a lot.
Have you thought about branching out to non-as seen on TV products like Shark Tank or Kickstarter, stuff like that?
I have actually done that. I've done some razors like the Gillette Fusion 5 Pro Shield Power, the One Blade. I have branched out. I will probably continue to branch out more in the future. It's really kind of what people are asking for. So the more people ask for non-ASCII on TV products, the more I'll probably review them.
Okay, here we go. Personal questions.
Great.
How many children do you have? Hey, look.
Well, here's half of my children right here. I have twins who will be 20 years old this year.
Who is the cameraman? Right here.
This is the cameraman. Whenever I say my cameraman, that's him. The rest of the time, it's a tripod.
What does your family think of your reviews? What's your family's favorite reviewed item? Well, I can speak on my behalf and say that I really like Fur Wizard and Hot Hands.
I was gonna say Hot Hands. Oh yeah, everybody likes Fur Wizard too. And my mom loves the RangeMate Pro. My daughter doesn't really like any of them. I have my favorites elsewhere in this Q&A. I don't know if how I edit it's going to be before or after, but I've already shown my favorites.
Why don't you ever show your family in your videos?
Well, for the most part, they don't want to be in the video, or I probably would show them more.
What do your kids think about your acquired YouTube fame? Do you see them going into the YouTube industry?
I think they think it's pretty cool, because they both were on YouTube at one point when they were younger. So I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think it's great that you've managed to accumulate more than 100,000 subscribers. That's a pretty impressive number. As far as me being on YouTube, you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe if we branch out more, then that'll happen.
Right. You never know.
Have you ever been recognized in your everyday life?
No, and I have some friends with way less subscribers that have been recognized, so I'm lagging behind there. I need someone to recognize me to fluff up my ego a little bit here. No, just kidding. I don't care. No, I'd probably be embarrassed if someone walked up to me.
Come say hi to us, though.
Yeah, if you ever see me, I'm a friendly guy in real life. Don't worry about it.
Billy Mays or Anthony Sullivan?
All right, well, you got to go with the beard brethren and say Billy Mays. I like Anthony Sullivan, but I can relate more closely to Billy Mays than any of them. And let's not forget Ron Popeil back from the 70s, the original ASCII on TV pitch guy. He was the one that kind of was the first of all of them, but Billy Mays, definitely the man. Or he was the man, not anymore, but he was.
Rest in peace.
And, hey, Mark Gill is not bad either. Mark Gill's kind of an up-and-coming guy. He's actually out there a lot. So don't forget Mark Gill.
Do you like cereal?
Do I like cereal? I grew up having cereal. Whenever I eat cereal now, it's usually the healthier kind of stuff, which I kind of don't eat a lot of carbs anyways. But I'll eat stuff like Basic 4 and like crunchy with like, I don't know.
Brown eggs or white eggs?
If you've seen my egg videos before, which there's a million of them, usually brown eggs.
Do you cook? And if so, what's your signature dish to cook?
No signature dish. Yes, having been a single father, I had to cook. Often reluctantly, but I can cook. It's just I don't do it that much anymore.
Favorite food, just in general?
All right, my favorite healthy food would probably be salmon with brown rice. My favorite unhealthy food would probably be pizza. Big old greasy slice of pizza. Before every Golden Knights game, actually.
So what are some products that you plan to do?
Well, now that it's getting warmer, I'm going to do the chill chest and the Arctic Air. Those I already have. It's going to be close to 90 in Vegas, so those will definitely be worth testing out soon. And I kind of just play it by ear. Whatever is out, I'll test.
What is your end goal as an ASCII on TV product reviewer? And do you plan to use the YouTube platform to jumpstart a career in the infomercial world?
As when I started my channel, I have no plan whatsoever. I had no idea anything was going to happen with this, so I'm kind of just rolling with it right now and just enjoying the ride. As far as being infomercials, I don't see that happening, but you never know. I don't think these ASCII on TV companies really want me because a lot of my reviews are negative, and they don't want some guy that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have a plan. I'm just kind of going with it right now.
Will you be doing any sort of giveaway or shout-outs in the near future?
Well, I do like to do collabs with some of my YouTube friends, and I'm trying to do more of those. I'll probably start giving away some of my old products maybe on my other social media profiles, which I'll put right here if you want to follow them. Shameless plug. Social profiles. I'll probably do some giveaways on those soon because I'm going to start running out of room for all the products I have, so I'm going to start maybe giving some of the old ones away.
Would you ever start a vlogging channel?
Okay, well, this is something that I probably shouldn't admit, but I was definitely a wannabe Casey Neistat before I was on Freakin Reviews. I wanted to be a vlogger so bad, but the problem is my life wasn't interesting enough to be a vlogger, so I started doing reviews, which I figured was something I was already knowledgeable about. But I would love to vlog if my life was more interesting, and maybe if my life gets more interesting, I'll start vlogging more. I have 2 vlog episodes on this channel, which are 2 of my lowest viewed videos, which kind of tells me something right there.
Would you ever review classic ASCII on TV products to see if they work?
I have. I did the clapper a couple months ago, and I've done a few others as well. I did 5 Second Fix. I figure if the time is right. Oh, I also did the Perfect Poly and I did the Zoomies. So I've done a few classic ones. I just have to sprinkle those in there when they seem appropriate.
Is this your main job, or do you have another source of income?
Yeah, that's a popular question. This is my job. This and freakinreviews.com, that's it. I have no other job than this. And I kind of went all in back in 16 and I'm going for it. My battery's dying, so we're kind of done. Okay. Bye. A lot of people ask about the products I use the most. Well, here they are. I got my thin optics reading glasses, the RangeMate Pro, Philips One Blade, and the Gillette Fusion 5 Pro Shield Power, Shark Iron Flex, and the Comfort Click Belt. These are the ones I use almost on a daily basis. Someone asked if I really keep all the products I review. Well, there you go. That's what I call the As Seen on TV boneyard, and that's a big majority of them. That's either the boxes for them or the products themselves in the boxes. It depends on if I'm using them or not. This one says, have you traveled outside of the US? I've been to Mexico and the Caribbean, and I'm going to Australia later this year in August and September. I want to hit VidCon while there and then go all the way up to the Gold Coast. I'll probably even do some product reviews while I'm there. So for the person who said to bring my show there, that's going to happen. I will be in Australia reviewing products later this year. If you could have any career or hobby without worrying about money or caring for loved ones, what would you do? It would definitely be a travel vlogger. Someone asked if I would travel around the country to review cities. That would be interesting. I'm not sure if that would really be something people would be interested in, would they? I think, didn't someone already do that, like on the Today Show or something like that? I don't know. Cool concept, though. Someone asked if I'd been to San Diego, California. Well, I lived in California for many years. I went to high school and college there. I used to vacation in San Diego all the time. It was beautiful there. The only problem is pretty congested. Driving there isn't very fun to me. All right, here's a few of them that I'm going to combine together. It says, do you have a girlfriend? I noticed your wife is no longer in the videos. What happened? Are you married? Are you divorced? Have you ever dated a subscriber? Well, I was married when I started the channel and I'm not now. So that's how it goes. Have I dated a subscriber? I haven't. I'm actually single right now. If I could combine the most popular questions, it's how did all this start? How did you start doing As Seen on TV products? Well, I can kind of answer all that together. I was a full-time blogger for many years before doing my channel, and I had a website where I wrote an article about an As Seen on TV product I saw on TV. I think it was Wax Vac, if you remember the commercial where the guy stuck it in his ear and kind of screamed. Well, I wrote an article about that and got a lot of interest in it, so I kept writing As Seen on TV articles, and then I started reviewing As Seen on TV products. So I started a side website in 2013 called freakinreviews.com, where I was kind of talking about products that I reviewed and test marketed items together. So in 2016, I launched this channel as a kind of supplement to freakinreviews.com, having no idea it was actually going to end up taking over. And now freakinreviews.com is more of a supplement to my YouTube channel than the other way around. What did I do before that? I had a lot of different jobs. I was in sports marketing. I did some social media consulting. I worked at a radio station. I did graphic arts. My degrees are in music theory and composition. I got to teach at a university level for a year. Didn't like teaching. So really, that's kind of how it evolved. I wrote a blog post in 2011, and here I am 7 years later, the As Seen on TV guy on YouTube. I had no idea that was going to happen. Do you like Kmart? I mean, Kmart's fine. There was one by my house that just closed, and they actually had a pretty decent As Seen on TV section. What's your favorite color? I kind of like dark brown, which I know was weird, but that's a color that I like. A couple people ask where I get my ideas for product reviews. Mainly, I get them by going into stores and looking on the shelves. Like I'm right now, I just went into a Walgreens. Before that was Target. After this is Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart. I mean, I will go until I find something or you run out of places to look. How can you convince your viewers that you can remain unbiased? Do you ever get sponsorships, and what are the conditions if you do them? How often do companies contact you to do paid reviews? At this point, I've paid for every product I've reviewed, except for Bacon Wave, which my sister found, and I reviewed that without actually paying for it, but everything else I bought myself. There are a couple of exceptions I've considered, like if a product was not out yet, like a Kickstarter or a Shark Tank, pre-release, I would consider doing one of those, not really as a sponsorship, but accepting it for free. I've looked into some different sponsorship ideas. One idea I'm kind of kicking around is taking a product I review that I've bought myself to a location that's sponsored, such as a hotel or a resort or a cruise ship or something like that. That's a possible sponsorship where the review itself will be unbiased, but I would possibly get a sponsorship from location. Now that hasn't happened yet, and nobody's taken the bait, so maybe I will never do that. That's something I've looked into, to get sponsorships without actually losing my objectivity on the product itself. Someone asked if I ever wanted to go back and redo one of my past reviews. Well, some of my early ones, I stand by most of my results, but I don't think that I really did as good a job as filming and presenting them as I would now. I don't know if I would redo them because I think that most of my results are pretty good, but some of those early ones are a little bit rough. All right, I know people hate this, but I got the sunglasses inside because I'm in rocker mode right now. I was asked who my favorite bands are, and I was a hard rocker most of my life. Although I've listened to everything from jazz to classical, R&B, hip hop, all that, I've always been more of a hard rock fan. So yes, I have my Rob Halford look going on, or maybe Jason Bonham. People asked who my favorite bands were. As far as classic rock goes, I would say Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, Beach Boys, Beatles, Byrds, ELO, some of that. Later on, definitely Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. And then more recently, I'm listening to kind of an indie band phase. So here's some of the indie bands I've been listening to. You got Mute Math, Pure Reason Revolution, Bright Light Social Hour, My Morning Jacket, Minus the Bear, Eyes on the Shore, Dance Gavin Dance, Silver Sun Pickups. It's all about good music. I don't really care what style it is. So yes, once in a while I like to slap at the bass. Someone asked about my most prized possession. And there it is. It's my late 80s Carvin fretless bass, still in pristine condition. If I have a prized possession, this would be it. Does Bailey have a favorite toy? Bailey likes tennis balls. It's almost always her favorite. Bailey! All right, now she's ready. Really? Oh, come on. This question is, would Bailey like the purple pet bed? I think Bailey, I don't know, because she likes to sleep on hard surfaces. I have carpet in my room, but she usually lays in the bathroom floor, which is kind of weird, but that's where she likes to sleep. Bailey seems like she's a hard surface sleeper, right, Bailey? Next one says, do your dogs get scared by loud noises? Well, my Chihuahua is deaf. Daisy is old. I don't think she gets scared by it. And Bailey doesn't seem affected by loud noises at all. When I vacuum, I have to almost vacuum over her to get her out of the way. You're not scared of the vacuum? What percentage of your videos has the phrase, Bailey is very excited? Most of them that Bailey are in are because Bailey's always excited, right, Bailey? In fact, Bailey's not really excited right now. Bailey, you're not too excited, are you? Bailey's not excited today. She's just kind of mellow today, which is rare. I'm not used to seeing her so mellow. Bailey, wake up, Bailey. Oh, ew. All right, if you want to know how old I am 49 years old, and in fact, I'll be hitting 50 this year. Well, Christy from Christy's Cooking Channel asked you what my favorite restaurant in Vegas is. My favorite restaurant is not in Vegas, but it's Momo Sushi, which is in Henderson. The reason I like Momo Sushi is because you can get some really good sushi in Vegas, but it's very expensive. Momo Sushi is not only very good sushi, but it's also affordable sushi, and it's not so packed because it's off the strip. So Momo Sushi is my favorite restaurant. All right, so I'm down at the Las Vegas sign with my friend Brendan from The Cheeky Truth.
Hey guys.
He does street interviews. They're kind of raunchy, by the way, but I would suggest checking him out because he does really good interviews. In fact, sometimes if you ever come down to the Vegas sign, you might see him interviewing people and me operating the camera, because sometimes I've helped him with his camera work. But anyways, I thought it'd be fun to have Brendan ask me some of your questions, so let's get right to it.
All right, guys. So who are some of your favorite YouTubers?
Well, some of my favorite big YouTubers are certainly Casey Neistat and John Olson, but I watch a lot of my friends around town, like Brendan's Cheeky Truth. I got a friend, Justin, who does welding for The Fabricator. The 2 Cent Chicks out of Tennessee, they do reviews like I do. Christy's Cooking Channel in Georgia. So I really support a lot of smaller YouTubers. But the big ones, it's definitely Casey and John Olson.
So can you review the Bell & Howell tack tool?
The question is, can I review the Bell & Howell tack tool? I'm not sure if I'm going to review that one. I've done a lot of the other tack products, but my good friends at the 2 Cent Chicks are supposed to be posting that video, I think, tomorrow. So check their channel out, and they probably have a review of that, and I may or may not do it.
Okay, so how long have you been living in Vegas, and what's your favorite part of Vegas?
I moved to Vegas in 1994 to help my parents' company out. As far as going out goes, for locals, Fremont Street's the place to go. I avoid the strip at all costs, but Fremont Street's pretty fun.
What about off the strip? Hiking? What is it?
I usually go to Lake Mead because I only live 15 minutes from there. I like going hiking out there. Red Rock's too far from my house.
How is it living in Vegas? A lot of people come from California and move to Vegas. What's it like?
I moved to Vegas from California, so I know how it goes. There's a lot of opportunity in this town, and most people I know that have moved here from other places all like it. If you don't mind a certain percentage of shallow people here, I mean, really, it's kind of a great city. There's everything to do here. There's no shortage of things to do, and they have top world-class restaurants, nightclubs everywhere.
As long as you can do it for heat. And the cost of living's a lot lower, isn't it?
Cost of living's pretty low here. I mean, you still buy houses for cheaper than California.
What's your favorite buffet?
Buffets.
You got a favorite?
You know, the Bellagio buffet is pretty stellar. That's like world-class buffet.
Have you ever run into Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather?
Have I run into Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather? My niece ran into Mike Tyson in a bar, and I don't think he wanted to be bothered. I did run into Roy Jones Jr. when I worked at a sports radio station back in the 90s. And Hector Macho Camacho actually jumped in the back seat of my car one time when I was pointing to someone who he was. He jumped in my car, and I don't think he wanted to leave. He was actually pretty baked, I think.
A place so warm, like Las Vegas, where you get up to like 120 degrees Celsius. Oh, 100 degrees
Celsius.
Let's try that again. All right, so what's it like to live in a place so warm, where it gets up to 120 degrees in summer?
Well, you get used to the warmth here. You just have to stay in your air conditioning. I'm used to it after 24 years, but some people come here and they have a hard time handling it. You're still not used to it yet? He's from Australia, so you should be used to warm.
It sucks the life out of you.
He's from Australia. Shouldn't he be used to that by now?
It's humid in Australia. It sucks the life out of you.
It's humid in Australia?
Yeah, it's dry heat here, guys. It just sucks the life out of you.
Oh. Well, you get used to it, but it takes a while.
Okay, so living in the desert is a huge snake or scorpion problem, and has Bailey ever run into any of these?
About every summer I'll find about 6 to 10 scorpions in my house throughout the entire summer. And
really?
Yeah. Bailey has never played with one, but Daisy has. One time I saw her pawing at something, and there was a scorpion with his tail up in the air pointing at her. So I don't like scorpions. That's the one thing I don't like. I can handle anything else. Haven't had any snake problems though, but I always get scorpions.
How big is your...
I'm not answering that question. No. And
I don't want to know the answer to this.
You don't want to know the answer to that. I don't want to answer that question. I don't even know why everybody liked that question, because nobody wants to know that.
So what gear do you use to shoot your show?
Well, I use, for my audio, I use a cheap lapel mic. I use a Zoom H1 for my audio. And
what about camera?
Camera is a Sony RX100 V, which I'm pretty happy with.
Have you ever been hurt doing a review? We see you doing some crazy stuff on your reviews. Have you ever hurt yourself doing it?
I've never actually been hurt badly, but I mean, the other day I backed into a bush and been hit in the face a few times. I haven't been hurt badly. I've been scraped here and there, but nothing serious. So that's all I've got, guys. Hopefully this wasn't too long and boring. And I'm going to put a poll up here, so you let me know if you want me to do a part 2, because I didn't get to all the questions that were asked. And if enough people ask for it, I'll put the rest of the questions out there. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for my next As Seen on TV review from James White with Freakin Reviews.